Hello, this is Courageous Light, and I'm delivering you a flower medicine message for July 2019. So July's flower is the gorgeous crepe myrtle. That's a common name, and they grow prolifically all over the American Southeast. And this is one of the coolest things about it. It like rains little blossoms. And so I was actually swimming in a pool recently, and the top of the pool was just coated with these flowers, and it made me think that I was in a giant flower bath soaking up the essences. And so I paused and I said, what is this medicine, crepe myrtle? I would love to know. And I just had that same delightful smile come over my face, because the medicine that this gorgeous tree gives us is the medicine of play. And I didn't even have to try very hard to connect with the fairies, and they are just popping out of the tree. The fairies are trying to communicate with you. So actually, I learned a bunch of cool stuff from this tree. Number one, if you're having trouble talking to fairies and you're trying to strengthen your communication, go talk to a crepe myrtle, because the fairies are just abundant here. And this is a really beautiful example of one that hasn't been pruned. Crepe myrtle trees are often pruned very heavily because in the United States, they are seen as just a purely ornamental tree, and their femininity gets caged and cloistered and controlled. But this wild example in my neighbor's front yard is just showing us how playful and gentle and beautiful it can be. So as you can see on my head, each big cone of flowers is made up of these smaller, tiny little things, and they kind of look like the crepe material. I don't know if you can see that in my hand. So I feel like that's where the name came from, because it's like a skirt, a full ballerina skirt. That was actually one of the images that came to me when I first started working with this flower, is a ballerina just dancing around. And then another image that the fairies gave me is that this is like a pom-pom that kids can use to play with. This is probably one of the first plants I've ever interacted with that was actually encouraging me to cut it. And so I'm just going to demonstrate today a fun fairy wand for people to play with. The crepe myrtle is begging you to play with her. So anytime you are going to remove something or take something from the plant, you want to ask it for permission. And it can be very simple. And just, say, I would love to dance and play with you. Will you give me a limb to use? And, ask it which one. I actually found one earlier that was kind of calling to me, this one down here low on the ground. So I'm just going to clip with my pruners, clip that off. And now I have got this wand, and then the other message they told me is to just strip off the bottom leaves. And now I've got my pom-pom, and I can lead a parade through my yard and get the fairies to follow me and dance and just enjoy summer. So we are just a few weeks off of the summer solstice, and this flower is the queen of summer because she wants us to be outside, playing, dancing with the fairies, and making little wands and toys out of it. Just a few more quick things on the crepe myrtle. It's interesting how she was asking me to cut from her, and a lot of people cut heavily. There's a term in the gardening world called crepe murder. Very often these trees are pruned into anorexic looking shapes, and it's interesting. I think people are picking up on that energy, that they see that it's very easy to cut and it grows back prolifically. And, if you're ever looking for a good raw material source to make some games for the kids, I heard it's also really great for fireboards, for, what do you call that? Bow drill fire making. And I'd love to hear what the crepe myrtles are telling you. So leave a message in the comments. Tell me about your experience with the fairies or the medicine of the crepe myrtle tree. And everybody stay cool in there. You can see the sweat literally dripping off my face. This is Courageous Light signing off from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Everybody have an awesome summer.